Chapter 1, verse 4.
Sovereign of the Day of Recompense.
Allah, the Exalted, is the one who possesses all sovereignty, which is free of all defects. It is a sovereignty which has no beginning, no end, no reduction and no limit. Allah, the Exalted, has complete and total control over the creation through management and judgment without any limitations, partners or helpers. The king cannot be hindered or prevented from carrying out his will. By accepting Allah, the Exalted, as the only king, a Muslim indirectly accepts their servanthood to him. Therefore, they must fulfill all his commands and avoid all his prohibitions. A true servant never questions the wise decisions of the king and instead submits with full trust to his choices, knowing that the wise king only decrees the best for his servant. Chapter 2, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not.
When a Muslim recognizes Allah, the Exalted, as the king, they will not turn to another when seeking help and instead only seek his support through sincere obedience to him. They will always remember if they obey the king, he will protect them from the creation. But if they obey the creation over Allah, the Exalted, the creation will not be able to protect them from the punishment of the only king. This is indicated in a narration of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, found in Sunan Abu Dawood, number 2625. He declared that there is no obedience to the creation if it leads to the disobedience of the Creator. A Muslim should adopt this characteristic according to their status by purifying their inner spiritual king, namely, the spiritual heart, through acting on the knowledge found within the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. This will cause their servants, meaning their bodily limbs, to obey their spiritual heart in acts of righteousness. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has advised in a narration found in Sahih Muslim, number 4094, that if the spiritual heart is pure, the rest of the body will be pure, but if the spiritual heart is corrupt, the whole body will become corrupt. One should not become a slave of their evil desires and instead become a true king which controls their desires according to the teachings of Islam. Whoever perfects this will be given a spiritual kingdom in both worlds. The ultimate destination of the one who fulfills the rights of the king by perfecting servanthood has been mentioned in the Holy Quran. They will be granted a high station in the presence of the only omnipotent king. Chapter 54, verse 55.
In a seat of honor near a sovereign, perfect in ability.
In addition, after declaring that Allah, the Exalted, is the most affectionate and most merciful in the previous verse, the Holy Quran immediately declares that Allah, the Exalted, is the Master of the Day of Judgment. Chapter 1, verse 3.
The entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
Again, this is aimed to create a balance between hope and fear. This is to ensure the qualities of mercy and affection do not mislead anyone into remaining heedless of the fact that on the Day of Judgment Allah, the Exalted, will gather the entire creation and hold each person accountable for their deeds. A Muslim should therefore strive to avoid wishful thinking by believing they can live in disobedience, yet obtain the mercy of Allah, the Exalted, in this world and in the next. One must prove their servanthood and acceptance of Allah, the Exalted, as the Lord of the worlds through sincere obedience by fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions and by facing destiny with patience. Only then is a Muslim in the right position to hope and rely on the infinite mercy of Allah, the Exalted, to save them in both worlds.